Live. We're talking about the Secure Act 2.0 for 2022. I'm JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm, and the home of AfroEconomics. I love this topic tonight. I hope you're going to enjoy it. I I want to make sure that you ask as many questions as you can. So please feel free to chat along. I'm sharing it on as many forms as of social media as I can. I want this information out there. I want us to talk about what's going on in Congress. How are you, Mr. Wynn? How are you doing? Michael Robinson, my husband, thank you for your support throughout my life. Especially this week, boy, it's been quite a week. I started off the week with CBS 6, WTVR in Richmond, talking about statement shock. Please go to the AfroEconomics YouTube channel and check out all the videos. The WTVR.com has the video of our discussion. They did an interview on Monday of statement shock, and I was talking about, related to tonight's discussion actually, about employer retirement plans. And then on Tuesday, I had the great opportunity to share 2 hours with Carl Nelson, his fantastic morning show on WOL. And Carl, we talked about everything. And the Carl Nelson show, make sure that you check that out on the YouTube channel, Afro Economics YouTube channel. I was able to record that. And the thank you, Mr. Wynn. He just wants to make sure that you feel real good tonight. And he was talking about the latest update on inflation numbers. But we all know that our personal inflation rate is a lot higher than 9.1 that the government tells us about. That's what I want to talk about tonight, is that a lot of times what the government presents to us as what might be good for us really is not designed for us. And what is amazing is that we take these numbers or this legislation or these names that are given to things like the Secure Act, and that is supposed to be about retirement security, and you actually could buy into the idea that that this is to design to create some sort of retirement security for you. But it is actually designed to make the government feel more secure about what you should be doing for your own retirement. They've really told everyone that the Social Security pot is emptying out, and they have just about enough to make sure that Cheryl Fleming gets about one check when she's ready. Maybe a half a check for Cheryl Fleming, and another half a check for Brad. How you doing, Brad? Thank you for everything that you do. Bravador has a live radio show, and he has been musically entertaining me for many, 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 many years. After I left University of Virginia, the first radio show that I was on, the first person in Richmond to believe in me was Brad. So I will always remember that. And Brad, and I was answering the telephones, and he was taking people live. What was it? What was it? Loving WANT. Remember? It was Brad, and remember Lorenzo Ice T and Brad. Brad was bringing all of us. Look, and Lorenzo is like big time now. And but we remember Lorenzo when and Brad brought us in. So thank you, Brad, for all that you do and have done for so many of us. How you doing, Miss Hayes? How are you, Miss Golightly? How you doing, Mr. Jenkins? You know, you all that we really have to think about how much our life impacts so many people. If we realize how much everything that we do can make a difference in everybody's life, I think that we would it would be a little bit easier for us to keep going, because I know that it's hard. I know that it's hard. So I guess I just want, you all to know that I appreciate your support and you keep me going. And but do you know that this Secure Act is not enough to make sure that we eat for the rest of our life. It is designed. So this Secure Act, it started in 2019, and in Congress, all of the politicians said that we're going to take it came from the word secure, a nice acronym from setting every community up for retirement enhancement. Every community. So so in 2019 it was started, and then they just said we're going to continue to build on it, and it kind of got stuck after 2019. So now we're working on Secure Act 2.0, and we want to build on it. And one of the things that I talked about on Monday on the Virginia This Morning show was the fact that the Labor Department put in the 2019 Secure Act that employers had to start as of July putting in their work retirement plan statements an estimate of what your savings could create in income. And for a lot of people, that doesn't make them feel more secure. If anything, it made them feel insecure. So but but at least, it was like we don't need to have people working and thinking that they're saving enough and they're not. So since everyone is not taking the steps to sit down and talk to a financial advisor, maybe we need to, put it in a statement and say this is an approximate amount of what you have saved that this will come in income. So those of you who are in Afroeconomics, make sure that you look at that June statement if you are in an employer plan and share with me what it says. And what we do, those of you who have retired with me, that's what we do. That's our challenge. That you have this lump sum that you've accumulated during all of your working years, and our challenge is to create income from that will last for the rest of your life, and that so that you feel secure. And so what the Labor Department said, use an annuity in the illustration. And what I wonder about is that going to make everyone feel like they need to, say, well, JB, let's just put everything in an annuity. Even though a lot of times, people are like, I don't want to do an annuity. I don't want to do an annuity. They don't want to do that. Is this going to be in a movement that everybody was going to want to do an annuity? Also, I wonder, how did all of a sudden annuities become the only way to illustrate this? Are annuity companies somehow in this great partnership with the government, and it became like, hey, if you do this for us and you show the benefits of annuities as an insurance product and a guaranteed source of income, then this is how we, because we are paying these expenses to the government because the insurances pay a lot of fees to the states. And the states, have to pay a lot to the federal government. So definitely, this is interesting. I don't, know how it all plays out, but for something to move, to come down like that when during the Obama administration, it was totally a different movement away, and it was a move that it was a movement away from insurance products. So it's interesting to see different political, things happening, and it's a blessing from my perspective to be licensed on both sides of the industry because I'm like to be able to talk to my client about either product. Because if you're not, then you're going to have biases. So I am able to say, well, that pros and cons of the annuity option is this, and the pros and cons of not having the annuity are this. And that's really what you want to do. And that's where you want to be with having an investment advisor versus just focusing on the product. You really want to focus on just talking about options and getting advice. That's where you really need to be in the financial planning process while you're growing and accumulating your money, if you can, you know, in a perfect world. I know when I first, you know, started in the business, it was not, that was the beginning of the actual investment advisory industry. Everybody was just buying stuff, very transactional. Now we're actually saying, maybe there's some value in really thinking and planning through this stuff. Maybe there is something, beyond this, even though at the same time, we are becoming like really technical. So I'm going to see, let's see which one wins, right? Man or the machine. I think we both should just work together. I think that man and the power of the machine should be used together. We should not be trying to exist without each other. I don't think that a machine should replace the human being. And I don't think the human being should try to outdo or say eliminate. Like in this type of society, it's stupid to say I don't need to use machines to help me. Like it's someone saying, oh, I'm not going to use the calculator. Why not? I'm not going to use the machine. I don't want to use the algorithm. I don't want to use the risk analysis. Why not? Right, Mr. Jefferson? Mr. Jefferson, someone asked me about your timeshare. Please remind me to get the information to or from you about they want your timeshare because you checked into AfroEconomics and said that you would actually let them rent your timeshare. So, see, that's networking. How are you doing, Miss Mac? So, let's look at this part of so the Secure Act started its movement out with these new retirement things in 2019, but it still got new things that are trying to come forward. The major things that are trying to be completed by the end of this year with the 2.0 are the auto enrollment and auto escalation of your savings. With the auto enrollment that will allow the employer to automatically put you in the 401k, the 403b, or a simple plan at your job. And the point is that it's supposed to be completed and through Congress by the end of this year and finished in the Senate. It's already through the House, but supposed to be completely finished accepted by both everybody and all of that. But it's not, so we'll see. It's only July. So it would have automatic contributions and would be required, um it would be at least 3%, and it could be up to 10% that a company could take of your compensation. And there are some companies, like the state of Virginia does that for some employees. There is a required part of their salary, depending on when the person started. Some people listening, if theirs is like that, say yes, where a part of their compensation is taken and put into their pension plan already. And then, if less than 10%, if they put in less than 10%, their contribution can increase 1% each year until they get up to 10%. And this would not apply to small businesses with fewer than 10 employees, or new businesses in business for less than 3 years. And it wouldn't apply, for churches and governments. So and they can opt out. It says they can opt out, but the federal government already has something like that. People are automatically enrolled into the thrift savings plan, I believe. The employees may opt out of the plan, but they'll put you in automatically, but you can, say I don't want to be in it, I guess, at some point. But they have to allow you to get out. But they're saying that if they do this automatically, it's supposed to, like, really help you. By doing it this way, it's supposed to, like, increase your chances that you will save. And so um this automatic forcing, will, yeah, though it said, Mrs. Novell was saying that the post office people are automatically put into the TSP also. Exactly. I know other people. Yeah, and then Ms. Golightly was saying that people, they're in the state that do have to do that. So the they're definitely, and Ms. Novell was saying about the state as well. So there's, I don't know why, these guidelines are saying not governments, because they're already doing it. Maybe that's why it's not saying not governments, maybe because they already do it. But that is the big emphasis of it. Is, in reality, that helps businesses, because the businesses want the employees to participate in the plan, because because of what is called these top heavy requirements. If the people who they don't pay enough don't participate, then the people who make the most money, the higher salaries, can't put in as much money as they want. So there are top heavy provisions that are called, that will require that they have to take some of their money out by the end of the year, because they cannot benefit, there's guidelines that they can't benefit dramatically more than the other lower paid employees. So when I said in the title, like, who is this Secure Act really securing? The truth of the matter is, overwhelmingly, the incentives of this is to actually help the employers. The employers and the top people. Because also in this plan, there are in the legislation to reduce the top heavy requirements by in this new Secure Act 2.0. The top heavy requirements are going to be reduced. So this is definitely, an incentive that is going to make it. I'm going to. I want to use their words. Let's use it. I just want to use it. So the top heavy relief for excludable employees. That's the way they use it. Top heavy relief. And it's funny because they use these words, so you are listening to it and you go top heavy relief and you go, oh wow, that must be, a good thing. You want to have relief, you want to help. It's like, no, it's saying you want to, that you are helping these highly compensated people save more money. And then also it's increasing the ability for the employers to have tax credits for setting up these programs. So if they force the employees to put the money in the retirement accounts, they get tax credits for having the auto enrollment and auto acceleration plans. is, exactly. Queen Howard said the rich keep getting richer. The rich keep getting richer, and the and we're helping the richer get the ability to hide it from taxation. So if we can allow them to save their money, see what they're trying to do is they're making so much money that they need to reduce their taxable income because they don't need all this money. And they're mad because they go to work and they're just mad, and they don't know what to do with all this money. And what do I do? And so what do I do? I can't. What do I do with this money? I need to make this money, but how do I put it away? Because I'm maxing out. Not a problem for the person who's still not getting paid enough. We're talking to people that are making $500,000, 600,000, 1.2 million. They they're making the maximum for the 401k every month. So they're like, what do I do with this? So now this new Secure Act 2.0 is allowing them to set up a emergency savings through the 401k pre-tax, an emergency savings. then it's allowing you to take the company match. And in this Secure Act 2.0, these are your politicians. These are your people you're going to vote for. They're doing this. The House approved this just like that. It's the Senate. It's the Senate that's like, wait a minute. What are we doing? So what you need to be thinking about is, how did the House of Representatives approve this so quick? Those are supposed to be y'all friends. Oh, wow. The House of Representatives was like, okay, good, and they're like trying to convince us that like this is secure. This is your security. Because it's in this provision, not one bit of mandatory match from employer. Not one bit. It even went so far as to give them the employer a tax write-off for giving you a gift card to participate in the plan. So they get the tax credit that is increased, an increase in the tax credit for setting up the 401k. So the TSP, Ms. Williams is saying, is not automatic. You must join. No, the question was, do you have to get in the TSP when you become an employee? Like, do you automatically, are you automatically enrolled? Are you automatically enrolled? I think there was like, you're automatically enrolled with 4% when you start working, isn't it? And then you have to opt out. Is that true? And then someone was saying that they know they're automatically enrolled at the post office, but I think that's across the board, and then you opt out. Is that true, Ms. Williams? Mm. Um, um, Ms. Williams was saying generically, you still have to enroll, and then to get the match, you're not automatically enrolled. So so the but there's no, on this new plan, no incentive for the employer to give you a match. There's no the only the incentive is just for the employer to for the employer to just set up the plan, and for them to actually get the tax write-off for setting up the plan. And they've increased the tax write-off for setting off up the plan, the tax credit. Actually, they've made it more marketable for all businesses to set up the plan. And I think that this is because they want so much less pressure about Social Security. There's just got to be a movement away from Social Security, from depending on it, for the next generation especially. Because in the Secure Act 2.0, there is a provision, if it's approved, where you can pay your school loan, and I'm sure it's going to be your government school loan, your school loan back, and most likely, of course, it's going to be your government school loan back, where you're going to. So if the person has a private school loan, this might not be applicable. So the government school loan back, and the employer could give you your match according to what your school loan payment is. So it's basically so that you can, so the years that you're saving, you're paying your school loan, that you are getting like the 4%. So if your school loan is $500 a month, then if this is approved, then they have a 4% match, then they'll give you 4% on that $500 school loan. And then if they have a 4-year vesting, that by the time, and you have 6 years to pay your school loan, by the time you finish paying your school loan, you will be fully vested at work. So that is helpful for you if that can be approved, and that will also help the government get some of their loans paid off. So that's also them looking out for them, because after 3 years of graduation, they're saying that most people have not paid not one loan payment back, for a school, most people that have school loans. So if they can get employers to help them collect, this is a collection movement. What a good idea, right? That's a good idea. Right, Miss Hayes? That's a good idea. You feel me?
When you say collection, that's like, wow.
Right? I mean, that's a collection move, right? Because
Yeah, that's a
they're like,
collection.
these people, their probably their collection percentage is very small. So they have these kids that finally getting a job, and a lot of them still aren't paying them back. So they're just like, well, let's do this. Let's get the employers to get this money, you know what I mean, back from me. So if I get the employer help me prove that they have a job, so then now you've got that kid in the system too. Now I know where they work. If they try to get out, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna garnish them anyway. So they're gonna be, you know what I'm saying? They're in it now. You're in it. Like that's good. That's a smart move. They're like, we're gonna get this. They can really get that. Yeah, smart idea. And then the employer, you know, we can give the money, you know, because the employer can get the person to stay and work with them, work for them. You know what I mean? Longer, and they'll stay. And that's really, you know what I mean, that's more helpful. So I think that you know is powerful. That's powerful. Whoever, I mean, I hope, look, that of all things, like, unfortunately, not to be sarcastic, but that probably be the one thing that doesn't go through. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like, it will be like at the end of the year, you'll be like, well, what about the school loan thing? Oh, well, that didn't work. That didn't work. But with computers, it's so easy to do stuff like that. Like, it's just so much easier now. Like, you really can, like, just set that up. If they would stop changing school loan processing places, if they would just, you know what I'm saying, but they keep like switching like processing places over and over and over. If they would just stick to like one government processing place, and then when they have, you know, they could, where's your employer, boom, and then boom, and then they're fine. But it's like they switch all the time. So I've had people who their credit gets messed up because they have the loans switching to different processing centers, and it looks like they have the same loan at three or four different places. So you have to check your credit, because if they don't take that other processing place off your credit report, your score will get jacked up because it looks like you have more debt. So when the person came to see me, I said, "Well, this is the problem right here," and they were paying, you know, goo gobs of money for somebody to correct their credit. You know what I mean? And as soon as they signed up, I was like, "This is the problem. This is the same money. This is the same money." You know, that's not science. But if, you know, but if nobody, you know what I mean, if you nobody's actually, if you're just depending on machines all the time, that's what you're going to, that's where it's going to be. Miss Davis, you're in the dark in Florida. I don't know what you doing.
Okay, I'm out on the patio away from everybody else inside, cussing and going on. And I don't know if you want me uh, coming in that
Wow.
way. So let
Wow.
me put
Wow.
me
I'm
on
just
mute.
glad. I'm just glad you're having a good time on vacation, and I'm glad that you're planning for a secure retirement. They says
Yes,
someone says
absolutely.
someone said this generation has been groomed to pay things electronically, and before they have any control, automatically from their bank account. It is worrisome. Yeah, like digital financial slavery. It is, and you know, that's what I was saying the other day. Like, I don't think a lot of young people that are watching other young people even know how their young parents are paying bills. Like, they don't know how to pay bills because they've never seen bills be paid. Like, so it's, um, yeah, it is a challenge. Like, this is going to be something, but um, but this also, this digital financial things can work to our advantage if we just stay organized. We just have to stay on top of it and use it to our advantage. But it's not designed for us to get lazier. It's just designed, it's just a different design, and it still requires for us to manage our things. I think that we thought, oh, oh, this is easy, so we can just be slack about it, and it's not like it's it's easy, but we have to be actually, you know, we have to check things even more. We really need to look at the transactions even more. We really need to look at our statements even more. Like, so many, has everybody looked at their quarterly statement? Because a lot of the statements don't come in the mail. So you got an email that said your quarterly statement is available, and we never go look at it. We need to look at it. So definitely look at it. Look, just don't let the digital stuff shut you out. Use it for your power. Use it for your power. So the increased savings. So we talked about the auto enrollment. Auto escalation now is because it will go up the 1% each year. So if the employer starts it at 3%, it's going to go up automatically up to 10% and then max out. They're gonna, have incentives for small businesses also. And remember, the big businesses are going to get that incentive for the auto enrollment because they're going to get tax credits for setting up the auto enrollment. And if they have an existing 401k, they'll get the tax incentives for switching over to the auto enrollment plans because they'll have to set up the new plan, so they'll get the tax credit if they switch over. So though employers will receive a new tax credit for the amount contributed by the employer on behalf of employees. The up to $1,000 for any of these new plans that are set up for this new Secure Act in the first year. For these small businesses, they're going to get a tax credit as well. For the employer, the tax credit for using auto enrollment for small businesses if they set up a plan for auto enrollment at their small business. Employer. Employers have that, the incentive to offer the financial incentives for the employees getting involved in it. Remember, I was saying they can offer it says small immediate incentives like low amount gift cards, and the employers can, of course, write those off. But they can do these things are employer benefits for the employer can write off. The Now let's talk about the required minimum distribution. That's the required minimum distribution is when you have to take money out of your individual retirement accounts, and the individual retirement accounts and your retirement accounts at work. So now that age is 72. And this Secure Act 2.0 wants to increase that to 73 next year. By 2030, increase it to 74. And in 2033, increase it to 75 as the required minimum distribution age. Now, who is that for? Of course, that's for people who have money. So, yeah, that is for my clients that don't want to spend their money. So, that is for a lot of members of AfroEconomics that have money and are trying not to spend. But a lot of people that is not applicable to. They're already spending their IRA. They're praying for 59 and a half to get here. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But the point, like with Afroeconomics, of course, we're statistical anomalies. We're trying hard to save everything we can so that when we do get to, 59, that you're not trying to spend all your money. And then when you get to, and that, but that's my goal. So I love it when I'm saying, okay, we don't have to touch this till you're 72. And they're like, golly, it makes me mad. Oh, I don't want to have to touch it at 72. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I just want to grow it and grow it. I just want, and then now we can say 75, 73. Well, really, it's going to be 73, right? Because 2023, it's going to be 73. 2030, that's 8 years for 74.
JB, what? Can I just dive in and say something in
Mhm.
relationship to what we're talking about? I know I just online, but when we get to in our generation and us as a people, we get to these situations. We already are on dialysis. We Our high blood pressure is through the roof. I mean, we're teetering on um, the possibility of not living very much longer for our race of people. We, you know, heart failure, high blood pressure is out the roof. So, mm, how can we think in terms of that as it
I think
relates
that's more
to
applicable to
where
Social
we are?
Security. I think that's more applicable to Social Security because when it's your own money, you should save it as long as you can. But with Social Security, you should get it. If your health is average, you should get it as soon as possible. But when health has nothing to do with sending your own money. Like when if your health is average, that's more the reason why you should leave your money alone if you can. Like if you're if you're
Uh,
but if your health is average or lower, then that's why you should get your Social Security because nobody is gonna benefit from it. But your IRA can go to your beneficiaries, you know what I'm saying? And it can go exactly and you can do whatever it is, or you find out you terminally ill, you can go to Paris, you can buy airplane, you know what I mean? You can do anything. It's your money. But you can't call the government and say, I only have 6 months to live. Send me everything I have in my Social Security. You know what I mean? You can't. You can't change their plan. So if get it. Get your Social Security is more of a health issue. No.
okay.
From that for that when I look at it that way. And that no, everybody the only person the IRA can go to tax deferred is you can roll over an IRA to anyone, roll over, but your they're going to have to pay taxes on when they withdraw. But your spouse has much more privileges than your non-spouse. So your non-spouse tax laws changed within the last few years where they have to have their
Mhm.
distribution rules are different and we will have to look at that. So if your beneficiary is a non-spouse, then their tax situation is different than a spouse on their inheritance, on their inheriting an IRA.
Mhm.
But but they all inherited as a rollover. It's just that a non-spouse, like has to empty it out in 10 years and things like that within a 10-year period. Blah blah blah. But we can go over those. but that just changed, recently. I don't know if it was in this 2019 or it was right before that. It might have just been in that Secure Act. Um, and that wasn't so secure a move. That was not nice. The So there's also this Secure Act 2.0 wants to create a database for lost retirement accounts, for lost pension accounts, so that people who switch jobs and feel like there might be some money in the old job and they can't find it, they want the pension fund, that guarantee fund, to like turn in all the information that they have. They feel like they're holding out the insurance company that guarantees pensions. So we'll see what happens with that. And the let's the see what about that emergency savings account, where I was saying that adding an emergency savings account to the 401k plan to include an emergency savings account that can be done pre-tax. I think that's a good idea. You know, um, Definitely again for people that have a lot of extra money. You know, no, again, we're not talking about anything that applies to really the average person here. We are definitely talking about something that the average person could benefit from if they're willing to sacrifice. But it's it's just that we have to. I just realize, like, there's a lot of things that exist in this world that we just are not able to take advantage of as a majority of our community. But at the same time, we have $400, $500, $600 car payments. What is the average car payment for the person making $30,000? And what is the average 401k savings percentage for the person making $30,000? So that's where I say we have to make a shift in our priorities, and say, I don't need to have the car. I don't need to have the car. I need to make sure that I live somewhere on the bus line so that I can have a way to get to work, but I gotta save some money. I gotta save, and I gotta pay this school loan. And it's gonna take me a while. And it might take me 10 years to do this. But I gotta do this. And I gotta do it this way. Yeah. And Mr. Wynn, exactly, he said we always find a means to get what we want. Yeah, and it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. It is hard. You got two kids, you trying to get on the bus and everything. It's so much easier to get a car. But if we do what is easy, life is going to be real hard later. So if we do what's hard now, life's going to be so much easier later. I promise you. Because I'm telling you, I'm a living example of a hard ass life. And it does get easier, even though it's still hard. But it just, you know what I'm saying? It's just a different hard. It's just not the same hard. Exactly. It's just a different hard. But I love my life. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, you know what I'm saying? I just promise you, like, We deserve, like, we just deserve it. And if you do that, like, if you do that, if you do it, like, I just think sometimes if we make things too comfortable, if we make things too comfortable, it's just going to make it so much easier for us to mess up. If you keep it just uncomfortable, if you keep it uncomfortable, then you're not going to mess up. If you go like, oh, this is, you know what I'm saying, I got to do this, like, it will stop you, it will stop you from a little bit. You're not going to do, you know what I mean, certain things. It's just going to keep, if you keep it, just keep it you keep it uncomfortable, and I promise you, you're going to move in the right direction. Don't let it, and don't let anybody else, like, try to make you be too easy. Like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you putting yourself through that? Why are you doing it? You could so and so. You know, over there they got and so, and when your tax return comes in, or when your refund comes in, and why are you saving that? You could do this, and why are you putting that on there? And why are you so and so? Do Make sure that you are doing something different than what most people are doing. You know, most people that I know are preparing to retire. Most people my age that started working when I started working are preparing to retire. In my opinion, I just started working. I was a single parent, and my daughter just started college. So in my opinion, I just started working. And I just got married. You know what I'm saying? So to me, my life just began. So don't judge your life off other people's life. Like, I can't judge my life off other people's life. Like, I just can't. To me, this is the beginning of my life and my career. Yeah. I don't borrow. You know what I mean? Don't borrow. Don't borrow anything. Yo. Don't need don't borrow anything. Don't borrow what you need. Yeah. Like, I really believe, like, for many black women and men, like, we might go through different things just as a people. Like, our lives are different. We just can't really judge ourselves off the norm of what things are supposed to do. you know yeah, learn to live, without judging yourself against anyone but yourself. you know I'll only compete against yourself. Only compete against yourself, because really nobody else can keep up with you, because you're doing so much. Like, you're doing I make so much sacrifices, and I make so many moves, and so much, so much. There's no competition. There isn't, like, so if there was any, if I was trying to compete, like, who would you compete against? Who would I compete against? So you just have to just do it. You're not gonna. You're going in and you're trying to, not have a car. Now, I remember when I was like, I'm gonna be debt free, and I just got rid of everything, and everybody was looking at me like she has lost her mind. It worked, and it was the best thing I ever did, and it saved my life. Saved my mental, physical, and financial life. I was like, I'm gonna get out of debt, and I'm gonna get in shape, and I'm gonna just, focus on walking like I talk. Like, and this is just what I truly believe. You know what I'm saying? That's what I just truly believe, and I'm just not. I just don't want to have this type of pressure and stress worrying all the time. To just, whatever it is, you can do it. And don't think that everybody's always gonna be like understanding when you're making a major, major unpopular move for your good. Focus on God and make that move. Follow his instructions and do it. Follow his instructions and do it. And you can't go wrong. As long as you're doing what God has put in your heart to do, you can't go wrong. Mm. So the most that is our true security. As you see, like no matter what they name anything, you know, this Secure Act 2.0, like this, the deepest parts of it, at the core of it, it is to help employers make sure that their heads of their companies, that they are able to save more, that that the big people that are making the most money are able to save more. And along the way, the people who are saving can save more, and the people who owe the government, yeah, let's not make them give me my money, give them the money back to the government too. Mm-hmm. Debt free, best thing since sliced bread. Isn't that the truth? Mm-hmm. That's right, Queen Howard. That's right. So this, your your retirement plan has to be something that you focus on for yourself. Know that this movement that's coming down the tracks, it could be a good opportunity for you, in that if you own your own business, um, there may be some incentives that you didn't know about, and we can talk about in setting up a plan for your business, and some ways that you can write off the expenses for setting it up, which you could have done anyway, but some extra incentives. Um, and but but for if you work somewhere, we'll have to see how this all plays out. If you have school loans, we'll have to see what your employer will have available. If they do allow the school loans to be paid off through your employer plan, it will be up to your employer to set it up so it can be done that way. So even though it is something that the government says, yeah, it can be done, your job will have to have it as an available benefit. So, it may cost thousands for them to have it. So it might have to be like a major business that will have it available. And then the match part of your payment, you will be able to get. So it sounds like, a good thing, but I will keep you updated. It's still, as I see it come through the Senate, I will try. And any of you, if you see anything happen, you get any updates, you see anything about the Secure Act 2.0, as it makes its way through the Senate, please, keep me up on it, on which parts go through, what happens. That top heavy provision, and providing flexibility for the highly compensated. I think that's interesting how they slipped that in there. Um, yes, um, I have always like tried to like give everything like the benefit of the doubt, and like kind of say like, oh, no, they don't try to look out for the rich and things like that. But you know what, the truth of the matter is, like, that's the way it is. That's exactly how it all works. And it's just the way it is. And you can kind of try to deny it, but if it denial doesn't like really change anything. That if we don't learn and participate and figure out how to maximize the benefits that are available to us. There's just, that we're gonna, there's we're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss it. We're just gonna miss it. I was watching a video the other day, with the guy, like the rich dad poor dad guy, and some other videos, and they were just talking about, like, how the 401k is just this horrible thing, and they're taking your money, and the pension plans are like horrible. And I had never seen a video like that because of how I am, so trained in the system, like that. You know, everybody has a pension plan, and my job is to help everybody maximize their 401k and the pensions and everything. And I said, you know what? That's an interesting argument, that like they take your compensation and they use it, and they don't really invest it that well, but they do take a portion of your compensation and they put it into this pension, and then they take parts of it and they send it to you for the rest of your life, and you have no control over it. But the the challenge of it is, could you do better? Would you do better? His argument is like, if they gave you that money, would you call me and let me help you do better? Or would you go and, buy these properties that he's proposing, and, and they do better? Or even, and my idea would be that, I could put in a portfolio, an investment portfolio, be much more liquid than his retirement investments. And, he'd have to put in real estate and then pray he could get it back out of the market. Like mine, I could put it in the investment and get it right back out same day. Like, at least I have quick liquidity. But, everything has its pros and cons. But could would you do the right thing if you got that extra compensation? Say they're taking 20% of your money. They're taking 20% of your money and they're putting it into this pension fund. Would you do the right thing with that extra 20%? That's what we really have to think. Cause like he's like, what I mean, saying this, but he's not really, what I mean, thinking about the fact that, you know, this, like, what if you um what if the person, doesn't do the right thing? What if they don't do the right thing? What if they, don't? So in a perfect world and everything went right, yeah, but the majority of people who have stability and are very happy, especially in our community, are people who actually got a pension plan. And unfortunately, now the people who got the pension plan are now getting older, retiring, and these companies don't have pensions anymore. No, they don't have these pensions anymore. So now it becomes even more important that you participate on your own into these retirement plans that have the match. Get with, hopefully, in AfroEconomics, sit down with me, learn about maximizing the investment options that are available. It can really make a difference. If you get into, the investment options, and we learn about everything that's available in the 401k, but his argument is, oh, but then those investment, companies, those options, they're just taking your money. They're taking your money, and they're investing it with them. But yeah, but if you take the money and you don't put it in there, then you're taking the money and you're putting it somewhere else. Your money's always going to be somewhere. At some, you know what I mean? It's always going to be somewhere. So that, but I just thought that that was, I had never seen like anybody argue against a pension or a 401k. And I was like, wow, this is what people are looking at. Like, and the that this, I had never seen. Like, but there's always someone talking about something. But the but the truth of the matter is, like, from a tax incentive, you know, and from historical performance, at least, if in your 401k, and we're picking options, we can look at over the last 20 years or the last 10 years, or that we can, we can look at history. We can, we can research it, hopefully, unless they just, presented something to you or something, or you can, on some of them, they have like investment advisors that you can hire. I mean, that shows you how much value the right registered investment advisory firm can add to you. And I think that a lot of times you don't see, like, oh wow, that's what JB Bryan does. Like, that's JB Bryan Financial Group, but that's just the one that they have there. But you have one. And no, so but definitely, the to secure the retirement that you desire has to be managed. If you want security, or the I think that if you're active and proactive and you take steps, and you take your future seriously, that's the key. Take steps. Take steps. That's the key, that we just have to meet, and and active, really take, seriously, do what we have to do. Communicate. This is what I want to accomplish. This is where I want to be. You know what I mean? And take me seriously, that we can do this. I think it's difficult for a lot of us to see someone that looks like you with nappy hair and all, and realize that they're intelligent enough to help you to plan your future. That, and that's really, you know what I mean? The key to our successful future as a people is that you first have to believe in yourself enough so that you can see someone else that looks like you and allow them to help you achieve all that you can get. Until then, we'll all only reach an average level of success, because my success depends on your success, because I'm 100% committed to you. So you're my success. And if you don't believe in you, you're not going to believe in me. And that's what happens. So when people tell me, oh, my friend, I told them about you, but they said they don't want no black person to help them with their money. And I go, I understand. I understand. I get it. And some people like log in here every week, everything. And 10 years later, I've been in this business 30 years. I've seen people retire. They'll be announcing their retirement. They love me and everything. Ain't called me once. Go right to my counterpart who may have been at that company 2, 3 years. And they know everything about me. Know everything. Know me forever. Know my mama, sister, brother, uh, cousin, street, everything. Doesn't matter. Because of you, they don't, they we're insecure about everything that we represent. It's not their fault. It's our fault. That I didn't come this far by accident. This is what I do. Yeah. So if I can help you, call me at 1-844 JB Bryan, AfroEconomics.com. Check out AfroEconomics, and please take advantage of the complimentary membership or do the full membership so we can start planning immediately. Thank you. Thank you. The rich have something to say because the bulk of the funds get interest. Exactly. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They know what's up. Yes, indeed. You all are great. Fantastic. Please share video with your friends. We can do this. Make that move. Thank you, Miss Daniels. Amen to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will see y'all Friday morning, members only, and Friday at noon is the Afroeconomics Business Network. Make sure you check out the events calendar at afroeconomics.com. Blessings.